based on lies. And he says, I always knew that if I stood my ground for all of you, meaning the New Yorkers, that I would be a target, and a target I became.
Yeah, well, how is he
I
standing
will
this? How
fight
is he
these
standing
injustices.
there in the gap for the? Okay, no, sorry. Hi, welcome to Texas Tough Chicks. I'm Gwen and this is Viv, and we're glad you're here. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're coming back for your poison, welcome back. And we're going to talk a little bit today about, okay, I don't even like it. Yeah, P. Diddy. Okay, I don't want to even talk about it. Honestly, gross.
I don't either,
because,
except for
I don't even know who he is. Honestly, I had to look him up. Seriously.
Well, okay, so Sean Combs, whatever. But here's the deal. I just kind of did a little research. So on September the 16th, he was arrested at his Manhattan hotel after the grand jury indictment. His attorney calls it an unjust prosecution of an imperfect person who is not a criminal. The attorney said that Combs planned to make arrangements to turn himself in, but was arrested first. Yeah, BS. Then on the 17th, the indictment against Combs is unsealed. It describes him as the head of a criminal enterprise that engaged or attempted to engage in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purposes of prostitution, drug offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. But he's not a criminal.
Yeah, right. Right. Oh, and don't assume he is. My goodness. Like
it says, he engaged in persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals, including physical violence, in order to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
Okay, gross, gross, and gross. Okay.
Yeah. One thing is he's being held without bail as he waits trial. A couple of little things. Apparently, he's in New York, and there are some people who are January 6th detainees that are apparently.
I was just going to point that out. Yep.
And he's saying that he was talking about what a crap hole of a place he's being held in, how it's unfit for humans. And I went, there's January 6 people in there who've not even gotten.
There's January 6 people in there that were charged for raiding. They did nothing but walk into the Capitol when the security opened the door for them.
And have
let's just point that out.
Yeah, and have never had a trial, have been kept in solitary confinement, not allowed to see families. So, but anyway, it just made a point to me as like, well, if Diddy thinks it's not fit for humans to be in, then there's a perfect,
well, I mean,
for those people.
I don't think he's come out and said this, but I know I heard something that he's like through someone else. He said he's not suicidal. I'm sure he's pretty scared.
Oh no,
like in there.
Not. Oh, you know what?
That he's going to be like the suicide.
He's yes. Okay, couple of things. One thing that was interesting is they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants.
Oh, okay, gross. Okay, let me throw up.
I know. And he has these things called the freak off orgies.
Okay, no.
Yeah, and apparently the Rothschilds do that too. So, but anyway, the latest thing that came out, and I just saw this today, was, do you know what adrenochrome is?
No, I don't. Do I want to know? I don't. Really
no, you really don't. You really don't. But that's another indictment that they're saying is going to come up, and it involves terrorizing children.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. You know what? You get convicted of harming a child, especially sexually. I'm sorry. You shouldn't live any longer. You're done.
That's the way I feel about it.
Done.
That's the way I feel about it. That's the way I feel about it. Yeah.
And I don't mean a 16-year-old guy with a 16-year-old girl.
No.
I'm talking about these little children. And hello, they're doing this with P. Diddy right now. But what about all of the illegals that are bringing children across the border that they have no idea where they're at? And maybe they're going to find out that some of them got filtered through this process. Who knows?
Exactly. Well, that's, we're up to over 300,000 children
brought in
illegally that they don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
So our government basically should be indicted for that.
They should.
I'm sorry. They should be.
They're human trafficking of children and child abuse. Yes.
They're complicit in that.
Yes. Yes. But you were mentioning him, the suicide thing. he's on suicide watch. And I went,
Yeah.
okay, number one, people like him and Epstein do not commit suicide because they have such a
Narcissistic.
yes, they
Yeah.
have such a God complex. It's like, they're going to
Yeah.
get me off. Nobody's going to
Yep.
do anything. So, if he gets Epstein, he got Epstein,
I hope and pray to God that he's smart enough to have given some information about all of this to someone that no one knows about. So if something happens to them, it all comes out.
Well,
right out in public.
That's what I think is going to happen. But apparently the list is very, very long. I don't see my notes here, but I was reading some more about it. I mean, the list of big names, they were saying it takes in the music industry, the movie, Hollywood industry,
gross,
corporate CEOs,
politicians,
and but and Kardashians are going to go down.
Oh, gross.
Lady Gaga, just a bunch
all
of
it. Just disgusting.
I'm sorry, these people are subhuman to me.
And you know what? This is the thing. If there's nothing to it, why is it so detailed? Why is there so many people? If there's nothing to it, why? And how come there isn't like a bigger deal? I don't feel like there's been that big of a deal. I've really only heard all of these details through the conservative talk, not through the mainstream media, because they don't want to expose their own people.
Right.
So they're kind of covering up this disgusting, like absolutely disgusting thing that potentially happened, which is happening now. We know for on children crossing our border right now. Thank you, Biden administration, which includes Harris. Thank you so much for that. Since we're not protecting our own children, like I don't see how God lets us even exist. Honestly,
I don't either. And it's sick, and it's just
gross.
Sick.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing: like in the real world out here, not the elite, like Hollywood and elite politicians and all of they're in their own world. They think that we all care about them. We don't care about them. Like P. Diddy, I don't even know who he is. Honestly, I have no idea. The only reason why I know his name is P. Diddy is because this story came up. I don't even know who. I don't care who he is, and he might think he's God, but there's millions of us that don't give a crap about him.
No, I would love to see him, tried and found guilty and punished severely for what he's done.
Yeah. Well, and everyone that's been involved. I'm sorry.
No,
Someone has the Epstein list, by the way. The FBI actually has that.
See, that was something else I was going to say that makes me okay. Two things. Let's back up just a minute. Back to Combs, P. Diddy. I think what's going to happen. They're saying that the charges against him could land him 100 years prison time. I guarantee you, he's going to cop a plea. He's going to do a plea deal, and he's going to cough up names. That's before they off him or whatever.
Oh, and yeah, he'll cough up the conservative names. I'm sure they're not going to tell us anyone that's on their team.
Yes, they also don't believe in a higher power. They don't believe in God.
Right.
And they think they are gods. And I think that nothing's going to touch them. And all I can say is I hope this house of cards comes down and every single person that's involved gets their name brought out.
Yeah, even if it hurts our side. I'm sorry. I want to know.
Barack Obama is one of the ones that's on Diddy's list. So he's got photographs with the guy, and
gross.
And they did these. Disgusting. It's just sick. I mean, these big, there was a clip of one of the Kardashians. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was Khloe. Was talking about a part, and this was years ago. She'd been to one of Diddy's parties, and she goes, "Yeah, there were just naked people everywhere, just doing it and did it." And I went, "You're disgusting."
Disgusting. Well, there's some more really interesting news that came out of New York.
Yeah.
Want to talk a little bit about
Adams.
That?
Oh yeah. And another fine, upstanding citizen. Yeah. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted by a grand jury on federal criminal charges. And they opened the charges today. It said they alleged that the 64-year-old illegally received foreign and corporate campaign donations for a decade in exchange for influence. Adams countered with a video statement saying charges filed against him would be entirely false based on lies, and insinuated that this criticism is his criticism of the Biden administration's disastrous border policies affecting New York made him a target.
But, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding.
No.
Okay, so like
Okay.
when you were telling me this was going down, I was like, oh, he had like 5 seconds of being a human when he really
Mm-hmm.
admitted that the open borders was a huge problem. When he
Mm-hmm.
got to the point where it was such saturation, which wasn't even bad compared to what
No, no.
Texas has gone through, but
Oh yeah.
he had saturation in his city where they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do anything with them. And he finally admits like that
Yep.
it's this open border is really a disaster. And then all
Yep.
of a sudden, it's like overnight, he reverses and then goes back after Trump. And it's
Uh-huh.
like, okay, seriously, who got to him and
Right.
paid him off? Like, so he'd stop saying anything about the open borders.
But then apparently it wasn't enough. It says the alleged fraud also sucked in more public funding for the mayor's campaign under a program that supplements small dollar donations with matching grants of up to $2,000 supported by taxpayers, according to the indictment.
Oh man.
According to court documents, a donation of just $250 from an individual could send a candidate up to $2,000 in matching funds from taxpayers.
Wow. That, oh my gosh.
And on top of the campaign donations, Adams allegedly received other perks like free flights on Turkish Airlines to destinations in Europe and Asia, free hotel stays, free high-end meals. In one instance, he allegedly asked about flying to Chile's Easter Island on a Turkish jet, but he couldn't because it did not offer a route connecting New York and the South American country. So he had to come through New York. In a speech recorded at his office residence, Adams said he would remain in office because he the charges are entirely false based on lies. And he says, I always knew that if I stood my ground for all of you, meaning the New Yorkers, that I would be a target, and a target I became.
Yeah, well,
I will
how
fight
is he
these
standing
injustices.
there in the gap for the okay, no. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry, dude. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nope. Got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean, our politicians, this is all over. This isn't just New York, this is all over. This
Well,
is
that was
all
my
over the
point. It's
place.
like who, all of the elites, all of these politicians. I, 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 I don't know how. I would say most politicians have some kind of little
Yeah,
side job.
Walls,
Oh
governor
God.
of Minnesota. Just start
Yeah.
looking up
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff that's come up out against him, how corrupt he
Mm-hmm.
is. And
Yep.
he's Mr. like Hunter or whatever. Okay, whatever. He's such a
Mm-hmm.
lying sack of
Well, they're all in, and just I'm sorry, they're all in the toilet bowl together, as far as I'm
yeah, and
concerned.
it's all about money. It really
It
isn't
is
about.
money and power.
And so when
Money and
people say they're
power.
served, like Biden has served our country, no, he didn't.
He hasn't.
He
He
made
sucked
money on
off of them.
taxpayers.
Yep.
That's what he did. He
Yep.
found a way to get in front of people, get his
Yep.
narcissistic whatever out of the
Mm-hmm.
way,
Yep.
and make money for him and his family,
Mm-hmm.
millions and millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So no, that's not a servant.
Mm-hmm.
Servant, I'm telling you who the servant is, the one who picks up your trash. The
Right.
guy who works at the septic or the sewer treatment.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
a servant.
Right.
Not a politician, not a professional ball player.
Mm-mm.
We got to get off of this calling people heroes and
Right.
servants when they're not. They're not.
No.
The guy who
No.
goes and fights for our freedom and puts his life
Mm-hmm.
on the line and leaves his little kids at home,
Right.
that's a hero. That is a
Right.
servant of our
Right.
country.
Yes, it
Not
is.
not these politicians that find ways to line their pockets with all of our money
Well,
and
they
then they
lie
do
to your
nothing for
face.
us.
They
Yeah, and lie to our
lie to
face.
your face. Right. Well, I think anything that has taxpayer money attached to it should be just a totally open book.
Mhm.
I think it should be totally
Yep.
transparent.
Yep.
But they said that here's a little bit more. It says in a series of free or heavily discounted trips overseas, Adams visited India, France, Turkey, Sri Lanka,
Mm.
Nepal,
Yeah.
and China.
Mm.
Let me see. As mayor of New York, do you need to make all these luxury trips? I
Well, he
don't.
should have gone to Haiti because you know what? He has a ton of Haitians there now.
Well, yeah,
So that's where he
but
should have
that's
gone. Tell
a
him to
crap
stop
hole.
sending them.
But he's not going to go someplace like that.
Right.
And
I
it says
know.
his everything. And
Mm.
basically, when it's all said and done, if he gets actually convicted, he faces up to 45 years in prison.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So let's not even get our hopes up for that. That's
No,
not going to
no.
happen. Not going to happen. So
he's a punk, and it's like whatever. But
yeah,
somebody like P Diddy, who's
right,
sexually abusing people and all that,
right,
that guy needs to hang out to dry.
right. That's
And
a whole
all the
different
little
level
nasty,
of disgusting.
And
Yeah.
all the little nasty people around him need to go with him. So
And get informed and get Texas Tough and start telling your neighbors about this stuff that's going on.
Yep.
You know, look at your own politicians. Don't be intimidated by them. Don't do
No.
anything violent, but you know, get tough on them and make them be accountable for the money they're raising.
Yeah, and just ask them questions. I mean, all these people now coming out, even as MSNBC's asking Kamala a little bit tougher questions, and she can't answer them.
Right.
Ask your politicians hard questions.
Right.
Go to your
Get
town
Texas
hall
Tough
meetings.
on their butts. You know, get Texas Tough.
Yeah,
you know?
you got to, because it's gonna be tough on us if you don't.
Yep.
If we don't save this country, it's gonna be awfully hard on us. So get Texas Tough. And we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
Come, Lord Jesus.
Yeah, really.
Take us away, because
I know,
so
that's
done with
kind of what
this.
I'm at. It's like, you know,
I'm so
just
done.